All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the April 13th, 2021 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We're glad you're with us, and for those watching on Facebook, glad you're watching in as well. We will begin as we always do with an invocation. Please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over us as we make decisions for the good of our community and the good of the county. Please look over our citizens and our healthcare providers as we continue to deal with the impacts of the global pandemic. Please watch over our men and women in uniform, both in the United States and overseas. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic,
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
They just don't stay together.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Measure Putman,
Here.
Measure Southern,
Here.
Measure Moran,
Here.
Measure McCollum,
Here.
Measure Berry.
Here.
Okay, we're going to get started with actually two proclamations, if you'll bear with us. The first is a recognition of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. And Caitlin Pirtle is with us. And before we read the proclamation, Caitlin, if you want to talk just a little bit about what your organization does and how it helps the community. And you need to unmute.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted. Hi, so I work at the Children's Advocacy Center. We provide services to child abuse victims in 7 counties of the Green River District, Henderson being one of them. We provide forensic interview services, therapy services, parenting classes, forensic medical exams. So we just really work with kids who have been abused in the community. And we were so excited that we were able to do proclamations this year to kind of bring awareness to prevent child abuse, because it's something that's very important to us and dear to our hearts. So we just really appreciate it and thank you for helping us with that.
Oh, you're welcome. And please send our regards to your team. Thank them for everything they do for kids here.
Thank you.
You're welcome to come back and visit at any time. And I know that Mr. Gold is very familiar with the services you provide, and we're all thankful for that.
Yes.
Keep up the good work and let us know how we can help. And one of the ways we can help is by reading this proclamation, and hopefully people will see this and think about this for a little bit and know that your organization is there for them. So, Mr. Wiesen, if you want to unmute and read our proclamation.
Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem in our society, affecting every segment of Henderson County. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Henderson County and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And whereas child abuse is considered one of our nation's most serious public health problems, where scientific studies documenting the link between the abuse and neglect of children in a wide range of medical, emotional, psychological, and behavioral disorders. And whereas child abuse can have long-term physiological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse, every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas it is the responsibility of every adult who comes in contact with the child to protect that child's inalienable right to a safe and nurturing childhood. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created between social service agencies, schools, health and community, and faith-based organizations, law enforcement agencies, businesses, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families, because prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, by virtue of the authority vested in me as County Judge Executive of the County of Henderson, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month in Henderson County, Kentucky, and encourage all citizens to join me in protecting Henderson County's children by providing them a safe environment free from physical, sexual, and emotional abuse and neglect.
That's a very serious proclamation, actually, and I don't know if a round of applause is due for the proclamation, but I am going to ask for a round of applause for the work of the Children's Advocacy Center. Thank you, Caitlin. Please come back and visit.
Hey, Kate, could I ask a question?
Yes,
How
sir.
long did it take you to put out all the windmills?
It was a group effort. A lot of us at the CAC, we all picked a different place and put them out. Here at the CAC?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it probably took us what, like an hour? Yeah. An hour maybe?
They're beautiful. I was driving down the street yesterday and they were just shining in the sun, but they.
Thank you.
Yeah, pretty cool. Okay. This also happens to be Fair Housing Month. And as part of our eligibility for community development block grant funds, federal government asks us to recognize Fair Housing Month as part of their requirements. So we're going to do that. They prepared a proclamation for us. I'm going to ask the clerk to read it, please.
Whereas the strength of our nation and all its states flows from the promise of individual equality and freedom of choice, and whereas the anniversary of the enactment of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, the federal fair housing law during the month of April is an occasion for all Americans, individually and collectively, to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom of choice and to participate in efforts to eliminate all housing discrimination. And whereas Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 guarantees each citizen that the critical element of freedom of choice and the selection of a home, and whereas fair housing is the policy of Henderson County Fiscal Court, and the implementation of that policy requires positive commitment, involvement, and support of our citizens, and whereas barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, Henderson County Judge's Executive, joined with the Henderson County Fiscal Court, declare April 2021 as Fair Housing Month in Henderson County and encourage all our citizens to join me in reaffirming the obligation and commitment to fair housing opportunities for all.
Thank you. And again, that's a request from the federal government. So I do hope everybody remembers the importance of fair housing and housing in general. Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. We have with us Mary Dunham and Kelsey Dunham from the Christian Community Outreach Organization. And I'll start by saying thank you for everything you two and your team has done in the last 12 months to help the citizens of our community who are negatively impacted by COVID. I know that you have worked many, many, many hours, well above and beyond your normal time frames to help people. And I don't know if there's quite another organization in town that fits that job description as well as Christian Community Outreach. So thank you. And I know you're here visiting today to tell us about some news from your organization. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Schneider, and thank you, magistrates, and everybody else on this call. You all have had a part of where we have landed here in 2021. Brad, can we share a PowerPoint screen real quick? Or
sure, Brent can help you. And Mary, if you can move closer to your microphone, that would help.
Okay. We're going to try to go ahead and share this screen. This is a PowerPoint that just helps us stay focused. We've got the food pantry is packed today. We're in a little storage room in the back, and we've got senior service day today too. So as you guys well know that we are a 501c3. This is year 35 and my 5th year as director. And every day I feel blessed to be able to do this. Kelsey came on board last year with the HERF initiative. She graduated from Georgetown College, and then I was very pleased and I feel just blessed to be able to work with my daughter. She graduated from Georgetown College in May of last year, kind of. And she and Kathy Patton both have been instrumental in helping us get where we are today. We never missed a day in 2020, and I give that all the blessings to all of our volunteers. Of course, we are a special ministry. We were created to respond with dignity and concern for our families. And I shared this in my devotion today. The greatest gift we can give any of our families is our time. And every volunteer here, and there's over 100 each month, we're just blessed to be able to do that. This is what our food pantry looks like.
So our food pantry is open every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and now the third Saturday of the month. We're only open for 2 hours, 9 to 11, but in that 2 hours, we serve 40 families every 2 hours that we are open for the most part. Right now, we're a little bit slower. However, that doesn't stop us from coming in full-fledged with a full pantry and ready to serve those in need.
If we try, some people find it very hard to come in here. That's why we give them our time. We explain the situation. This is typically what our families would get. We are so blessed to be able to have food pantry set up like we do. A family size of 1 to 2 will receive about $135 of food, and this is monthly. Family size of 3 to 4, $150 worth of food, and a family size of 5 or more, $170 worth of food.
We can't do what we do without all of our partners, including the Fiscal Court. We have amazing partners that are willing to do food drives for us. East Heights Elementary collected over 1,000 boxes of cereal for us in Salvation Army. Tyson's a great partner. Any food drive we totally appreciate, and we have a blast getting dressed up at the holidays to give out fun extras to our families.
Today is Senior Commodity Day. If you don't know, that is a program for our senior citizens in Henderson County. And magistrates, while you're out and about, if there are senior citizens age 60 and above, and they may have some food insecurity, this is income based, but right now one person can show $1,900. We're under COVID guidelines. We do not pay anything for these 300 boxes. And if we don't keep this program full of applications, we possibly could lose those slots to another county. So please, if you know any senior, and our seniors are the hardest people to convince, it's okay to take this box of food. You have worked your entire life, let the government give you this free box of food. And that's at 12 to 2 today, and again in the morning, 8:30 to 10:30. Housing Authority has already been here, picked up 47 boxes for their families. First Baptist Church has picked up for Pleasant Point and St. Joe Apartments. And tomorrow morning, First Christian Church will pick up for Red Banks Towers and Red Banks Regency. So we're gearing up here.
So if that wasn't enough, we also offer funding assistance, and the county is amazing at helping us do this. We do offer $100 in a 2-year period. Of course, that is case to case. We have been so blessed here recently where we are able to go above and beyond, and that is thanks to all the amazing folks in our community. We do help with utilities and rent. That's our 2 main ones. However, we also offer medication assistance. This is something that our families really struggle to pay for with high copays and stuff like that. We also offer emergency gas for out-of-town doctor visits. And this is super important because for many families that have to go to Nashville, Louisville, even Evansville is a struggle to pay for the gas to get there. We do require the Bank on Henderson class every 12 months. We do teach here at Outreach on Wednesdays. It's a fun time, and if anyone's ever out and about and wants to come sit in on a class, it's very fun, and our families do really get into this class.
So 2020, it was a year like I had never seen. You can see there the last 4 years of how many utility assistance we did. Now I will tell you this looks a little bit different, but typically, like Kelsey said, we give $100 in a 2-year period. With the utility bills in 2020, it was nothing for us to give $300 to $400 to every client that was in utility need. Just this morning, now through fault of their own or through different situations, we're still seeing about a $2,600 utility bill. So we know, as Judge Schneider knows, and several of you know about the unemployment situation. And we'll just see if we can keep helping with more than $100 in 2021 also. So that is our utility assistant. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know we're going pretty quick, but go ahead.
Mary, this is Butch Putman.
Hi,
Just how are you today?
I'm good.
I just wanted to touch on something. On the 23rd, we had Hunter Phillips at the court meeting, and he was talking about a $200,000 grant for utilities. And I think he said for county citizens only, and that would have been up to $250 a month for up to 6 months. I guess my question is, do y'all qualify for any of that?
Well, unfortunately, no. And that was Judge Schneider. We talked about that. And then when I went and talked with Grad, I don't understand. We'll look into this for future knowledge. We do deal with federal money through FEMA for
Yes.
rent. But for whatever reason on the utilities, we haven't been cleared to deal with federal money for utilities. So we had to give that money up as much as we need it. This year, we had to give that money up. But if we can deal with federal money for FEMA and rent, I'm not sure why we can't be, certified to deal with federal money for utilities. And you'll see why in just a second when you see the numbers from last year.
Well, thank you. I'm
Thank you.
sorry to interrupt, but
Oh, no, that's fine.
And,
Feel free to interrupt anytime.
and just to clarify, the county isn't giving up the money. We're going to have to utilize Audubon Area Community Services to distribute the money. Our initial hope was that Christian Community Outreach can handle that, but as Mary said, they're not cleared to do that. So it was one option. Either way, county citizens are going to be able to take advantage of that aid once we get it.
Absolutely. And
thank you.
Would be willing to do anything as long as we're clear to do so. We don't want to do anything not by the book. In 2020, our rent assistance was up by 186% financially. We'll see that in a minute. But it was a very rough year, again, with the unemployment, sometimes through faults of their own. We do want to see our families in their own homes, though. It's so frustrating seeing the people in the hotels or anything like that. So we were able to help 316 families stay in their homes during COVID and in 2020 as a whole.
So the families, this is food now. This also counts our entire clients. A client may walk in the door when we're open and they may not need food. So this is total clients that walk through the doors in these past years.
I jumped the gun a little bit. Oh, money. It's my favorite part to talk about. So you can see from 2019 to 2020, we spent a lot more money, and it's because we were able to, again, through the generosity of our community, the county, the city, everyone, we were able to increase in everything and helping our families. And it was the absolute best outcome for such a horrible year. And we were blessed to be able to do this.
A couple of things I want to note here. If you look at the rent amount, obviously you can see from 36,000 to 92,000. We have pretty well, our general fund is not looking real well right now, but once again, it is so important for our families to have a roof over their head. And that is our main priority. We can't even talk to our families if they're on the streets, which brings me to the emergency lodging. It went up 815%. Now, I will say that our partnership with Father Bradley Shelter, we do try to work with, COVID. Harbor House couldn't take anybody for the men. Father Bradley has to have a COVID test. They take COVID tests through the hospital. So a lot of this emergency lodging, these single women that are homeless and hopefully they want to change their lives, because it took us 2 to 3 days to get their COVID tests back, we had to lodge them in the Sugar Creek Motel. So, again, we depleted a lot of money in 2020. So we're hoping to bounce back a little bit, but we're doing the very best we can. You will notice the prescriptions went down 47%, and that is our partnership with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Lloyd and Michelle Job, they're here almost every Thursday talking with our families. It's just, again, we give our time to make sure our families know they have to have a secondary plan. Even if they have Medicare and Medicaid, they have to have a secondary plan. And just this morning, I had a guy say, "Oh, that Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield has helped with my copays." It's amazing. So thanks to Anthem.
My specialty, the Henderson Employee Relief Fund, which the county was instrumental in. We had 768 applicants. And of those applicants, only 190 were current outreach families. The other portion was families that had never stepped in here, that had no idea we were even here. So we were blessed to be able to do this program. Of those 768 applicants, again, 471 people stayed in their homes. 234 received utility assistance, 21 received other needs. That was car insurance, car payments, to get them to where they needed to go during COVID. Some of them had reduced hours, but they had to go to work when they were needed. And even groceries. Someone said, "I just can't pay for groceries." In all, we gave almost $400,000 back to the community. So that was money that came from the community that stayed right here. And again, we were so blessed to have this opportunity. We had so many volunteers that were able to help us with this, and we thank you all for it.
I do want to say that we are blessed. The blessings just keep coming. For the first time in 35 years, we hope we won't have to pay an enormous, I shouldn't say that. We wouldn't have to pay rent again. We had land donated at the end of 2019. Of course, that wasn't our main priority in 2020, but we did have a beautiful groundbreaking on April 2nd, and pledges are coming in. Hopefully we'll have our very own building. I will say Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield has given us $20,000 to name the waiting room. And we have another donor that's given $25,000 to name the conference room. You guys will actually have, Kelsey and I are in a storage room right now.
You can see our Christmas decorations right behind us.
We will have offices with doors, interview rooms with doors. And like I said, time is the most important thing we can give our families. So does anybody have any questions now? There's our contact information. We have a brand new website. Please look on that. If you ever want to know anything about our history, it started in 1983. Kathy Patton has done an incredible job with our website, hendersonCCO.org. We have new email addresses, don't hesitate. And Judge Schneider, Fiscal Court, everybody else on this call, I saw Steve Gold. How many times have I called you? We work with Children's Advocacy Center. That's the worst calls we have to make, but we are very blessed to be in this community. So thank you all. Any questions?
Well, I'd like to just thank you all, and I really am impressed. And I know I've sent several people, and y'all been so nice to them, to go through the Bank on Henderson program, which I think helps people try to learn how to better handle their finances and not have to come back and set aside a little emergency fund, because we all have bad things happen to us. And if they don't have anything, and I really appreciate what you all did with that. That's just awesome.
Thank you. And if you all are out in the community, please help us pass the word. April 28th, we have another government farm
to table food drive.
Farm to table. I never can remember that. April 28th, which is on a Wednesday. It's a drive-through at Community Baptist Church between 9 and 11. We'll have between 500 and 600 boxes to give out that day. And this is the cold storage boxes. Again, just this morning, the government cleared us to do Thursday, May 27th for a food drive also. And this is farm to families. So that's another cold storage. And I've got a 10 o'clock United Way call. Can't say enough about United Way. They have been very good to us. And so I'm going to jump off here and go to another Zoom call. Thank you all so, so much. Hey, there's Kenny Garrett. Hey, Kenny Garrett. Thank you for partnering with the 911 situation. That worked out very well.
Mary, two things before you hop on that Zoom call.
Okay.
Number one, I hope you let people know about the many, many job opportunities that are now available in Henderson. Unemployment should be getting better because everybody's hiring. So I know that's part of your message.
Well, I will tell you, we have a meeting with Kentucky Career Center on Friday. We're going to have conference room in this new building, and we may have to come. We need to not enable anyone. And there may come a point, we've talked about this, that you need to go out and put in 5 applications, and we need to hear you put in 5 applications, and then we'll be glad to help you for rent. We would not be unchristlike in any way, but we have McDonald's applications on our table. She's hiring on the spot. Budge Industries is hiring on the spot. Tyson's, you know, we can only do so much about telling people. And then that's when we get into a very point blank conversation about, you know, you have to work. We cannot do this anymore. And Brad, you know me from newspaper days. I can get rough, but I'll do it in a crisis. So, you know, we all have to work, and we don't want to enable anybody. That's not what God wants us to do.
Mary, you're never rough, but I know you can get real. And
I can get rough too.
The second thing is, I have asked Mary and Kelsey that if they have a way they think the court can help with this new facility, to submit that to us. Finance committee may review that and may talk about it in the future. But, you know, I just invited them to do that, and I hope nobody has a problem with that.
They'll send the capital campaign your way. Bless you.
Yeah.
And
Mary and Kelsey, real quick, I just want to thank you because I know what a task that you're facing. I'm pretty familiar with it myself. And I know the people I've sent there, I appreciate what y'all have done for them. And of course, your volunteers, you can't say enough about them. You're a great group, and hopefully our numbers have come down at some point, but the war on hunger and the war on need seems to continue on. So, but anyway, thank you very much for all you do over there. Appreciate it.
You're more than, we love it. Thank you.
Thank you both.
And in our new facility, I do want to say it's going to be so much larger than this space, and we are going to be able to offer all those classes that we have done in the past, the GED classes, the cooking classes, more Bank on Henderson classes. The space provided now, we just can't, with COVID restrictions. Again, we're not slacking off. We're still doing them. We just have to do them on a smaller scale. So when we do come and talk to the fiscal court, we will be able to talk to you about all the new things that we will be able to offer in the proper space. So I just wanted to share that too, that we are going to be way more active than we already are, because we love to do that for our community.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. You'll notice next on the agenda, several items involving
Excuse me, sir.
hospital. And yes.
Can we jump backwards for a minute and approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Completely forgot.
I
Yeah,
was on mute. I
March,
was trying to say that, Kurt.
March 23rd minutes. After period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion, I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
How about a motion by Master Barry, second by Master Moran? Any questions, additions, corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Kurt. I always manage to skip something in the order because I get engrossed in the conversation. As I was saying, the next several items on the agenda had to do with our agreement with Deaconess over our ambulance service and related issues. As it turns out, as of yesterday, the agreements still are not nailed down. I know that Steve Gold and I and Buzzy Newman especially, and Don Kelsey have been working on this for several months now and haven't quite brought it home. So we're going to keep working, and we hope to have something back in front of the court next meeting. So
It's inside, though. It's inside. We're close.
Okay, excellent.
we'll just have to postpone those. Next, we have our annual County Road Aid Cooperative Agreement. that we approve with KYTC every year. Their projected road aid to the county is up slightly, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Hubiak for any additional comments you'd like to make, Bill.
Judge, I support the county road aid agreement. We have been doing this since before I became county engineer. I think it's a good program. We can budget our numbers based on their projections, and the way the money is sent to the county to be utilized, I think, is in the best format for our treasurer to handle the funds. So I have nothing but support for the agreement.
Just so you know, this year's projected road aid, the budgeted road aid for this year was 1.162 million and change. Projected for next year is 1.339 million and change. So it's a bump, and good to see that. And I'll entertain a motion to approve this agreement. Is there a resolution with that, Mr. Clerk? Yes, there is. So I'll ask.
If I may, we need to do what we've done the last several years before, numerical paragraph 3, indemnification, and pen and ink the phrase "to the extent allowed by law" at the beginning of that paragraph.
Okay. So we'll read the resolution and then approve with that caveat.
Resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being part of the county road system. Be it resolved by the Henderson County Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being part of the county road system, and the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Henderson County, and the Fiscal Court Clerk of Henderson County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I believe, Charlie, can you amend your motion to include that the contract should meet all legal requirements?
Exactly. That was my intent.
Does that do what you need to do, Mr. Gold?
Yes.
To the extent
That phrase "to the extent allowed by law."
Yeah.
Correct.
Indemnification.
my intent, yes.
Okay, so Mr. McCullough makes that motion. Do you have a second? Second by Master Putman. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Brad, I just have disappointment that the state legislature didn't pass the increases on the gas. The Spence Bridge is just one example of 3 times the amount of traffic it's designed to handle. And we've got to get more money into our infrastructure. It's just got to happen. So anyway, that just had to say that.
I share your disappointment.
Me too.
Any other questions about that? Okay, next we're going to open up some bids on the replacement of a bridge, and this will be for the demolition and installation bids, and I'll turn that over to Mr. Hubiak for any further comment before we open the bids.
Yeah, Judge, the bid opening for the bridge structure itself, we're going to delay till the next fiscal court meeting, which will be on April 27th. But we do have the bids, 5 bids for the demolition and installation of the structure itself. So I'm going to open them and read them to the fiscal court members at this time. The first bid is from M. Bowling Incorporated, Henderson, Kentucky. Bowling's bid is lump sum of $102,955. The second bid I have is from Galusha Contracting. Their bid is $95,379. Third bid is from Scott and Murphy Incorporated. Their lump sum proposal is $115,435. Fourth bid is from M&G. Services. Their lump sum bid is $58,600.
That's interesting.
The fifth bid is from AA Services. $73,400. I would like to ask the court for me to take them under advisement and come back with a recommendation.
Do you want to do that today, Bill, or you want to bring it back to the next meeting?
I'll bring it back to the next meeting, sir.
Without any objections, we'll let Bill do that.
Mr. Hubiak, on the bids for the bridge, you indicated for the installation of the new bridge, you said those would not be opened and read today. Since our advertisement for bids said they would be open and read today, can you explain for the record why that's not occurring today?
We had a company approach us with that, and I could not have since I was out of town last week, I did not have time to get the drawings to them for them to make their bid by today. So we have extended that per request through Frankfurt also.
So you've run that up.
It is just
Flagpole to Frankfurt. They're okay with it. Okay.
Yeah, it is just the bridge itself, the structure.
So it would not be fair to get out the information for somebody to bid and have that. So you're just keeping everything under wraps. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're not opening any of the bids that we have already received because that would be showing their hand. And so we're waiting until that time to open those bids.
And to Mr. Gold's point, I did receive a call from the Commissioner of Rural Municipal Aid indicating that they had gotten a message from this company formally asking that they get the chance to bid with the drawings. And I said, we will do whatever it takes to make sure we don't run afoul of procurement laws.
I just want to make sure that was clear in the record of the meeting today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay. A note in your packets about our county credit cards and reestablishing the proper names on the accounts. Our former treasurer was the name on the accounts, so we want to make sure that is correct. Any questions about that?
Judge?
Yes.
I would like to make a recommendation on the one for the road department that the name be changed from to the county engineer on that, since I am the one that has the authorization of expenditures up to your approval. So I would request that be changed to my name, please, and the road department name on the credit card also.
Okay.
If I could clarify, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is not affecting the names on the credit cards themselves. We can do that afterwards. This is affecting changing the name over to Brenda's name as the account manager, who can issue a card or delete a card or change the name on a card.
Right.
So that all can be handled after the fact.
Do we need a motion on that, Brad?
I think it would be good.
I'd make a motion to approve of changing it to Brenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Master McCollum, second by Master Moran. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Now I'd like to get Angela Comer on call and give us an update on a program she's been working on for several months involving our safety practices here. So Angela, take it away.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Can you
Good
hear me?
morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Yeah.
So what this is a proposal only to start an official safety program that will serve to reduce the number of injuries and related costs incurred by our members and reduce the number of claims and related costs and reduce risks. Now, we've never really had a formal safety program per se. I mean, we've had some safety meetings and, discuss safety, but because our work comp carrier, CAECO, is now offering discounts on premiums for counties that have an active safety program, it's time that we, move forward with that. And I'm not, this will kind of spell out, everything involved, and it is subject to change, but it also talks about how to hire a safety coordinator and a work comp claims coordinator. Now, right now, that's something that I intend to do. It spells it out because it can become a really, really big job. And with HR also on my plate, at some point, we may have to hire a safety coordinator depending on how big this grows. But right now, I'm prepared to take it on myself. So, and I know this is a lot of information. It's kind of a big packet, but I can go through it pretty quickly and explain it. And then if you guys have any questions, you can stop me. Does that sound okay?
Why don't you go ahead and hit the highlights?
Sure, sounds good. Okay, so chapter 1 on page 3, it shows that we've never really had a point person for the safety department. So the department heads were primarily responsible for the safety of their departments. But this will allow us to put together a committee that will have an objective view on safety and claims. Okay, so on page 4, it talks about the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the federal government reported in 2009 that workplace injury, illness, and exposure rate was at a 3.6 cases per 100 workers in the private sector, but in the public sector, local agencies reported a workplace injury and illness rate of 6.3 cases per 100 workers. So, I mean, there's definitely a need for it. And in order to be a qualified and true safety program, we have things that starting at page 5, it shows the responsibilities, duties, and backgrounds in choosing a safety and claims coordinator. And then if you move on to chapter 2, it's going to spell out the duties of a work comps claim coordinator and the importance of having one. The county's work comp experience mod indicates how good or bad the county is doing. Right now, we're at roughly a 1.1, which is really, really good. A 1 is kind of a benchmark where they start, that's the average. Well, that's not the average. That's where they want you to be. So that's more the normal range. Now, anything that goes above that is going to cost the county a higher percentage. And at one point, like 6 or 7 years ago, we were close to a 2. Now we're doing great now, but that, back then, those of you who were here back then, you remember we had some really high claims that cost the county big money. So the whole point behind this is keeping those claims down, because with your experience mod, that's the tool that they use to kind of determine where you are as far as your claims are concerned. And at that point, it was so high because the claims stay on there for 3 years. So you may have a really good year this year, but if you had a terrible year last year and the year before that, your experience mod or your rates are still extremely high because of it. So in one bad year can cost the county big money. And those of you who are around then remember how that was. So, and the EMOD shows the financial impact of that. So we have 3 different types of injuries. We've got incident only. Those typically cost you nothing. We've got medical only, and those, you know, of course, you're going to have some expenses and medical expenses. But then when you get into lost time injuries, you're talking about, you've got not only medical expenses, but you have indemnity because, you know, you have to pay the injured worker, right? And then you also have a lot of times you're going to have some legal fees attached to that. So those are the claims that can cost you extremely big. And you know, just a handful of those add up so largely that, you know, that's going to impact your mod greatly. So that this also includes a return to work program and things of that nature, because the sooner you get those people back to work, you know, the less it's going to cost you. So let's see. That's pretty much the gist of it. It goes in to show, you know, forms and things that'll be used. Now, I spoke with Keiko. I met with them Thursday afternoon, and they've already made some suggestions on what needs to be changed in the program. This person, which will be me right now, is going to not only be the safety coordinator, but also be the work comp claims coordinator. So so with your approval, we want to put together a committee. This is going to take a lot of support from you guys, because the culture has to start at the top and work its way down. So what we're wanting to do is put together a committee, and the committee will not be the department heads. It'll be members from each, you know, to be employees from each department. And so maybe you can have more of a biased view on how to, you know, really dial down a claim, really just dig down deep and see what you can do to help make those less and less. And again, we're in a good place right now, so we need to keep it there. And that committee will meet once a month and, you know, go over all those claims. So
to kind of summarize this, we'll be using a base amount of Keiko guidelines, correct? These were guidelines kind of generated by Keiko, which is encouraging these programs across the state.
Right.
We will be eligible for discounts if we follow through on this and implement it, which is always good.
Yep.
Angela needs a committee made up of folks representing each of our departments. And I think the best thing to do, Angela, in my opinion, is go ahead and let's shoot for the next fiscal court meeting to name the, you know, present the committee to the court. And perhaps, I don't think the court all had that manual that you're reading from. I'm
Yeah,
not sure that it is.
Yes.
they did.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
We have it.
we have it.
Now, unless any of the magistrates feel like we should just go ahead and approve it now and approve the formation of a committee, and Angela can of course report back who's on it. But if you think this is teed up to go forward, I'd be open to that as well.
Yeah, Judge, I tell you, I'm for it. I think, you know, you can't stress safety enough in the workplace. Our Workers' Memorial Day is actually coming up April 28th, and we memorialize those that lost their life on the job. And you don't realize till it probably affects you personally how tragic that is. And anything we can do to improve our safety records and keep our employees safe, we should all be in on that.
And with that being said, I'm sorry, Charlie. I just want to say that Bill Hubiak does a really good job out at the road department with safety. And I mean, he really does keep safety at the forefront. So that's going to be pretty easy to implement out there.
One of the things that I feel like we're gonna have to do, everybody's gonna have to be on board with this safety policy and safety rules and things. It's not gonna be one department does it, one department doesn't. It's gonna have to be across the board. Everybody
I agree.
buy.
I agree.
Yeah, you're right, Tim.
I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely correct.
Tim, you've been involved with that in your prior job, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Brad, would you want to, maybe you and Tim and Butch get together and come up with who all you think would be the right people to be on the committee and just approve it next court meeting? Is that?
I think that's a good thing to do. And I'd be happy to work with Tim and Butch and Angela on that. I think we're gonna have a buy-in, and we'll get this set up so that we know exactly what we're gonna be voting on at the next meeting. Because as I think Angela and I briefly discussed, we have to basically make this part of our administrative code and bring it back also with committee members to the court as well to approve that. And also, collectively approve that Angela is going to be implementing this. We'll handle the duties until we feel like perhaps in the future it needs to be under the purview of an individual we hire for that purpose. So I think we need a little bit of homework to do before we vote on this. Is that okay with everybody?
It's okay with me.
Sounds good.
Anybody have any more questions for Angela?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. No, I am. You know what? I've kind of done a little bit of this for the last few years. I understand the experience mod. None of this lingo is foreign to me because I've been talking with Keiko about it for, I don't know, this last 7 or 8 years. So it all makes sense to me. Yeah, I think I'm ready. So.
Good.
You heard her. You heard her say it. It's in the record. Okay, thank you, Angela, and we will get this ready for the next meeting.
All right, thanks, y'all.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll turn it over to detention center reports, and Jailer Brady is with us. Amy, I will turn it over to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You should each have a copy of the quarterly report. And I did note a few things on there that had been updated as far as the HVAC units. Those have been installed. And we've had our door closers replaced. So those issues have been taken care of and removed. Do you have any questions on the report after you reviewed it?
Any questions? I know Amy is fighting an ongoing battle with every other employer in town to get enough employees, enough staff members. It's a very tough situation right now, but they're doing the best they can. Remind me, Mr. Clerk, do we need a motion to accept this report? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a motion to accept the jailer's report?
I move it. We
I
accept.
move we accept.
We have a motion by Master Southern. Master Moran, would you like to second?
I would.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Some more items I know that the Jay would like to discuss. And if you don't mind me jumping in here, Amy, I can talk about the UV lights. If you want.
Go right ahead.
The jail is experiencing a bit of a spike in positive cases of COVID, and it's concerning. And I know that the jailer is doing everything she can with her team to try to tamp that down and control it. One item she thinks that would significantly help are larger scale UV lights, I think, which hospitals sometimes use. The UV lights kill bacteria and virus in the rooms in which they're set. And it is a quick way, I think, to do that. And she was is discussing with me about purchasing those. They cost more than $30,000. Do you know the approximate cost, Jayla Brady?
They were 29.5 each, but then the warranty, we need to go ahead and purchase the warranty. So that put them over the $30,000 mark.
And did I characterize the need and the function of those lights well enough? Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Now, these are about 6 foot tall, and it would take 2 to cover an entire cell at one time. And it's the same thing that they have in operating rooms, in hospitals and things like that. It runs, depending on the size of the area, it runs about 15 minutes. And the entire area should be totally clear of any bacteria, no odors, no germs. Viruses will be taken care of. So this is something we really need to look into, and I can purchase these out of our commissary account.
And I also discussed with Jayla Brady the fact that we are still under a state of emergency, technically here in the county, related to the pandemic. And that state of emergency allows us some flexibility and purchases over the normal procurement threshold if we deem them to be immediately necessary for things related to the pandemic. Am I stating that correctly, Mr. Gold?
Yes, under the statute, there would need to be a declaration that this is an emergent situation, and the fact that there is a global pandemic and a declared state of emergency on the state level definitely helps with that, but it would help having the declaration of the fiscal court and a written statement by both the county judge and the jailer detailing what the emergency is if and when things are audited. Did I say that right, Brenda?
I believe technically we're still under a local state of emergency already.
Exactly, but with regard to this particular situation and this purchase, I just want to make sure Brenda's got everything she needs if and when auditors come around to make sure we're doing it all above board.
We've had a little surge out at the jail too, which I think makes it
Exactly.
an immediate.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Yes,
and I was just going to say, I think that's what makes this specific situation emergent.
we're later than other facilities. We fought it off for as long as we could. Once it's introduced into the jail, the way the HVAC systems are laid out in our facility, it is a constant circulation, and this will help stop the incessant circulation of the virus throughout the jail. We have right now 26 positive cases on inmates, 1 employee so far, and health department has administered over 120 vaccinations so far, and they'll be back today.
Do we need a motion on that then, Steve?
I'd like to get one, and the motion would be that you give me the okay to go ahead and declare a written reason for being able to buy this equipment and indicating that it falls under the guidelines with which we declared the state of emergency.
I would so make that motion.
I would second it.
Second.
We have a motion by Master McCullum, second by Master Putman. Any other questions about that?
Are we purchasing, like, is it like one light and then we're gonna move it from cell to cell, or go in
Would that
each?
get at least 2?
And they're portable, yeah.
They roll,
So we'll move them from cell to cell.
right?
Okay.
I think Bobby Norris may have actually saw the lights when he was at the jail, when they had them out here.
Mr. Norris is one of our county attorneys, assistant county attorneys. Okay. If there are no more questions, we have a motion and a second to declare this emergency purchase. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? we'll get that written statement shortly after the meeting here, and you can help us. We'll prepare something for you if you want us to, similar, and we'll get you to sign it. We'll be ready to go.
Thank you.
One more thing, and Jailer Brady, feel free to chime in here. I'll summarize real quickly. As you all know, Jailer Brady's been receiving bids, or did receive bids, to take over the medical services contract at the jail. They opened those sealed bids in the presence of Mr. Norris at the jail, and the most advantageous bid was from a company called Quality out of Indiana. They have a contract that goes with their services. Mr. Norris and Jailer Brady are reviewing that contract. They haven't quite finished making sure that all the contract entails is squared away yet, but they are getting very close to that. The question is, if we wait till the next fiscal court meeting, April 27th, it gives a short amount of time to actually implement the service, because it has to be in place by May 1, if I'm not mistaken. Jailer Brady and I talked about this, and then we have a couple options. I think it's fair to say that if Jailer Brady brought the recommendation with Mr. Norris is okay, that Quality was the best company to go with. I don't think any magistrates would have an objection with that. That being the case, one thing we could do is inform Quality that while we wait for the contract language to be finalized and we prepare for a vote on the 27th, Quality can go ahead and begin to ramp up everything they're going to need to get started by May 1st. Again, assuming that on April 27th, we'll be able to vote and there won't be any objections. Now, the other way to go is to wait until the contracts are in place and then have a special called meeting to approve the contract ahead of time before April 27th and go ahead and take care of it that way. And I'm open to suggestions or comments from Jailer Brady or any of the other magistrates, or Mr. Norris, who has joined Steve Gold in his office. But and I don't know if Mr. Norris caught any of our discussion there.
I just hollered for him to come in. I was in another court, but Mr. Norris has reviewed the bids along with Jailer Brady. They have sent a contract. Now, they have a very large footprint in Indiana jails. They have not done any jails in Kentucky, is my understanding. So there has to be a lot of Kentuckyization to their contract. And so that is something that is going to be a process, but we do believe that can be done relatively quickly.
The folks from the company have expressed their willingness to work with us in those regards. There's always the potential, I suppose, when you hit the attorneys, that they may not be as willing. But the people from the company, they've expressed that they're willing to work with us on what we will need as far as contractual terms.
Thank you. And so you've heard me describe kind of the two options I think we have in order to get this in place by May 1. And as a reminder, just inform Quality that that we are 99% likely to approve this on April 27th with Mr. Norris is okay. And go ahead and wait till the 27th vote as Quality ramps up and gets ready to go. Or we wait until the contract is finalized and we vote in special session, special called meeting before April 27th. Again, in order to give Quality time to get ready.
I think what Brad's suggesting is the right thing. And if Bobby, if you and Steve and Amy need us to do a special session, we'll do it. If we don't need it, if everything's working out, you're okay without that. If it works out with the company and they know and they're getting ready and geared up, but you know, the 27th versus May 1 gives you an awful short window. So whichever way you all need to go, I'm for it, whichever.
Any thoughts on that, Mr. Gold or Mr. Norris?
Ideally, it would be nice to get this wrapped up and done and then go ahead and get a contract inked, which would be through a special session, if at all possible. But if I would hate to see anything go off the rails between now and the 27th. If we can go ahead and get it inked and done, I think a special meeting might be the best thing to do, to go ahead and get it in stone.
That is not a problem. Jailer Brady, any thoughts?
No, sir. I spoke with Quality last night, and they are going to go ahead and start talking to some staff and work on things like that. A benefit of their company is they're in Vanderburgh, Warwick, and Posey counties. So staffing can be shared if that needs to happen. So
Why don't we just plan to call a special called meeting when the contract is ready to go? Hopefully that'll be very soon. And get that taken care of quickly, and then Quality be teed up, ready to move in by May 1. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
That special call meeting won't take very long at all, 5 minutes. Okay, well, we'll keep you posted. And Jailer Brady, anything else on any other issues?
not as far as I know of. We just received, that's what I was working on during court, just received approval from the state. Once our COVID clears out of the jail, we've provided proof that the inmates are free of COVID, then we'll be able to reopen our programs. So.
Gotcha. Good luck. Good luck. Sincerely, good luck.
Thank you. We need it.
Yeah. Okay, if there are no other questions of Jailer Brady, we'll move on to sheriff's reports. You have them in your packet. Sheriff Brady, anything to add to those?
No, sir.
Entertain a motion to accept the sheriff's reports.
I make a motion to accept.
But you need to turn your mic on. But motion by Keith Berry, second by Master Moran. Any questions of Sheriff Brady? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sheriff, any other items want to mention? Anything you bring up?
Judge, number one, kind of off the subject, but Brent Jacobs is just such a valuable employee for our county. I can't say enough about him. He's right there. He's always a problem solver. And Brent, if you're listening, I really appreciate what you bring to the county. And number two, this week is National Communications Week for dispatchers in our emergency services area. If any of you all see any of them or get a chance to call up there and thank them for their service, they are a lifeline between the officers on the street. And they do a marvelous job, very stressful job year round. And I just wanted to give them a little due. They do a great job for us.
Amen. And,
sure do.
It's been an interesting 3 years for our dispatch center. We've had to experience some turnover and new technology, and they've persevered through all that, keep doing a good job. So really appreciate them. Thank you for bringing that up, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions of Sheriff Brady? Okay, Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, we have several checks that I gave to Mr. Weeson earlier today. Check for dental and life insurance, $485.34. Health insurance, $6,341. Aflac, $124.94. Jail fees collected, $266.25 for a total remitted to the county today of $7,217.53, and fiscal year to date, $129,859.50.
Motion to accept the county attorney payments.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion from Master McCollum, second by Master Southern. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Gold, any other news from your office? Anything you want to throw in?
That's just again a public thanks to everybody on our staff, the way they've been able to deal with all the pressures, whether it's we've had court sessions because they're Zoom that have last night we had one that went till 11:36 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, and and, you know, or if it's in the child support side where, you know, we've had people coming in that, you know, are in financial dire straits and very upset and angry. The way our staff has been able to step up and continue to serve people with all the challenges that we've had this year. I'm very proud of the job that each of them are doing and the way they're able to serve our community. So just want to public pat on the back to all of them. And if you see them, if you could do the same.
Will do. Thank you. Thanks to them.
Steve, all the offices have just been outstanding. Clerks, the sheriff, the Herbie McKee's office. I mean, under the circumstances, in the jailer, I mean, it's just been phenomenal what we've been able to do, and you get kudos to everybody. Everybody's worked together and really done a great job.
And it's truly been a team effort here in Henderson County, and that's been a great thing to be part of.
Okay, moving on. Thank you, Steve. Treasurer Ryder, turn it over to you.
I do not have any fund transfers. I do have claims from the general fund to J.E. Shekel in the amount of $704. This is for judicial center expenses and is to come from that appropriation line. To Henderson Ambulance Service in the amount of $4,941.45. This is the county's reimbursement to the service for quarter ending September 30th, 2020, and is to come from the ambulance appropriation line. To Lowe's in the amount of $1,111.07. This is for miscellaneous courthouse custodial and maintenance and ground expenses and is to come from those appropriation lines. To Magistrate Southern in the amount of $585.47. This is for fiscal court training expense and is to come from that appropriation line. To Visa in the amount of $702.01. This is to come, this is for courthouse custodial expenses and treasurer data processing expenses and is to come from those appropriation lines. From the road fund to Rendon Shoulders, $800. This is a reimbursement of a culvert permit that was purchased and the purchaser ended up not building and sold the lot and is to come from the culverts appropriation line. From the jail fund to US Bank, which is the credit card, in the amount of $2,156.82. This is miscellaneous charges with the majority coming from office supplies and equipment repairs and maintenance appropriation lines. To Wells Fargo Financial Leasing in the amount of $589.35. This is for the copier lease charges and is to come from the data processing appropriation line. To Advanced Document Solutions in the amount of $1,274.17. This is for copier charges and is to come from the data processing line. And that is all the claims I have.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions? Mr. McCollum, I think you need to turn your video back on for this vote.
Okay, I will do so. I am sorry. I'm trying to send a response back to Amy. And I can't do it. Let me go back to Zoom. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
So we have a motion and a second on the claims. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We have with us Mr. Garrett. Kenny, if you want to give us any news from EMA and make sure you unmute there.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's see. First thing I've got is, of course, we're still in COVID logistics mode now, probably 15 months in. And just want to say thanks to Bruce Farmer. I see him sitting over there. We had to assist the jail this weekend with some more PPE. So he got that out there to them and got that taken care of. So we'll be doing that as we were requested moving forward. Other than that, put up a post on the HendersonEMA.org website this week for severe weather preparedness. So if you haven't seen that, just go out to the website and you check that out. It's just got some information about severe weather and warnings and things like that. And then the only other thing I've got is, with the drone, we've done several drone missions over the past few months. And if I'm able to share my screen, Brent, with
hold on one second.
Okay, that's fine. With the court's permission, I'm just going to shoot through a few pictures. I think Bill's still sitting over there. Bill, if you've got anything you want to say about some of these, I took at Sandy Watkins Park.
Go for it, Kenny.
Earlier this week. Hang on one second. We'll get that up here. There we go. So what you're looking at now is the backside of Sandy Watkins Park. And this is the community building. I'll zoom into that just a little bit for you, kind of get a feel for what we got. And then here's another one where we're looking basically from the backside northeast. You can see where the EMA response vehicle is sitting here, which is where I'm flying the drone from. And off in the distance up here is Rockport and some different things. So it's got a very good camera, and we can do a lot of nighttime work with it. And here's one of the bridges out there on the park. If you walk,
check out that walking trail, Charlie.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. And the camera work is really good too. I'm impressed, Kenny.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. We're still learning, still getting some airtime as we can, and just trying to get some of this stuff taken care of. For we do some things for obviously for flooding for the judge and different ones that we need. Planning Commission has had us do some stuff, and I'm sure we'll get more and more involved as everything evolves moving forward. But that's about all I've got for today.
Thank you, Kenny. Any other questions, Kenny? Mr. Farmer, any quick reports from the coroner's office?
Just, we've been extremely busy. We're working with social services now on indigents, but not indigents, wards of the state, about getting them taken care of through the state. Project has been working on for a long time. Other than that, we're going along just fine.
Thank you. And I think you're going to be finalizing a couple of lease agreements. Is that right? Still your rent agreement from the hospital, that hasn't been finalized yet, has it?
Mr. Gold sent the last response, February 14th or February 19th to them, and we have not heard back from them since then. So we're like a month and a half, and we're not sure what's going on.
Okay.
I'm afraid to ask because may start something.
We are awaiting response from Deaconess. Given the fact that we have situations where the coroner is leasing from them and they're going to be leasing things from us, it's very interesting the difference in terms that they like, depending on whether they're a landlord or a tenant.
Hey, that's the attorney, Steve,
Oh, I know. I know.
Keep us posted on
yeah,
that.
on Bruce's, at least the ball is in their court.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I want to thank Mr. Gold for all his work on this, because I've never been through anything like this, and we're having the same thing like with the ambulance agreement. This is a different situation of working with this group.
Understood. Understood. Okay. If nothing else, we'll go to the good of the county.
Mr. Ubiak has something.
Okay, sorry.
Judge, I have one thing to interject. The road department participated in the reverse salt auction for next year through CAECO. The lowest bid we received was from the Morton Salt Company at $97.50 per ton delivered. That compares to the $83.23 per ton that we paid this year. The prices were a little on the high side due to February's winter blast that depleted the entire stockpiles along the river, the Ohio River Basin area, and with diesel prices on the rise for both mining operations and transportation, the costs of earlier predicted were to be about $105 a ton. So we're still under what the prediction was, but we're definitely a higher cost than last year, about $15 a ton. So anyway, but hopefully we won't have to use it.
Did you say Morton Salt, the Morton Salt?
Yeah, the Morton Salt Company.
Will they deliver in little round cardboard containers?
It wouldn't, probably be easier to store, but it'd be a little bit of a problem trying to apply it to the roads.
I would bet, yeah. Have a bunch of guys in the back of a truck shaking a salt shaker onto the road. Well, good luck with that. I imagine that for commodities like that, all the prices will be going up for many reasons. Anything else, Bill?
No, sir, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Go to the county, and Master Moran, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. It's been really busy around it. Driving the county roads, you see lots of action going on with the springtime. I have one question, and I received a call from David Sellers about the spring cleanup. We had mentioned it earlier, but I can't find out that it's been scheduled anywhere or anything. Does anybody know anything about that?
It's not been scheduled yet. And May, I think, is when we did it last year, if I'm not mistaken, Bill. And I think that Nancy, our Nancy Watkins, solid waste coordinator, is probably planning that right now. COVID makes that a little maybe perhaps different.
I talked to her and she said that she wasn't sure. So yeah. I just thought I'd ask.
And if you'd like, I'll reach out to her and see if she's planning it, come back to the court with a report. But I think at the earliest, May would be the target times.
Okay.
And we'll publicize those widely when they're set.
Okay, thank you. And all's well in 2nd District.
Thank you. Master Southern.
It's farming season, guys. There's sprayers and equipment, and we're slow and we're in the road. So I just ask for your patience, and believe me, we don't like being on the road any more than you like us there. but it's a necessary evil. So please be patient with all the farmers in the community, and everything's pretty good. I've been wearing Bill's phone out, so he's getting a little angry with me, but he'll be okay. All's good in District 3. Thanks.
Gotcha. Magistrate Barry.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, everybody. I think everything's good. I've got a couple of little projects that Bill, Tim, I finally caught Bill. I came down here today so he can't leave. I'm going to take him out and show him these things. So other than that, everything's pretty good. Just a couple of projects we're going to look at and take care of. And other than that, we're all good. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Master McCullum.
Keith, you'll do better if you buy him lunch, but that just goes to say.
Yeah, I know. I'm between him and the door, you notice, so he can't get away from me today. That's right.
Everything is well in the 5th. I hope that we'll all consider what we can do for the community outreach, because they do such a tremendous job, and their new building and whatnot. I think it'll be very, very, very beneficial to our community. To be able to offer more services and whatnot. And so I hope that we will consider that down the road. Everything is good. I do want to say again that what everybody's done during this last year has been awesome. I mean, under the circumstances, it is just phenomenal what we've been able to get accomplished. And I just want to thank everybody for their working. And as Steve said, it takes everybody working together as a team. And I really, really do appreciate that work. So I just would like to thank everybody. But everything other than that is good in the fifth. My ditches are all taken care of, and my roads are good. My bridges are good, and I think you know, butches are probably in pretty good shape too. Thanks, everybody.
Well, that may be true, but make sure you mow your own yard, Charlie.
Hey, I do that. I do it myself. I'm crazy. Yeah.
If you need Bill's help to come by and, you know, clean your ditch, you know, bush hog, I don't know, if it's in the easement, he can take care of it.
Okay.
Astrid Putman.
Boy, it's tough to follow Charlie, I tell you. He covered about all of it. Just ditto to what Magistrate McCullum said. It's same goes for me, Judge. And just thank all you guys for everything you do, all the elected officials. So everything's good in the fourth.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Gold, anything further? I know I hit you up for extra news from your office earlier, but.
No, Judge, all's good.
Okay. Thank you.
Brad, one last thing. I'm sorry. Beth, we're having a meeting, a jail meeting after this, right?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. How soon can you be there?
Just as soon, but I can be there by 11:30.
Okay, I'll meet you there.
Is that okay?
That's
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Wear your mask.
Thank
We
you.
will.
You sound like my wife, Butch.
Got a few things quickly to touch on. We continue to see good availability of vaccine in Henderson. If anybody asks you, there are plenty of doses of vaccine around town and several places to get a dose, and encourage people to get vaccinated. I know there's still controversy about various vaccines that are out there and potential harm that comes from vaccine, and most of it is not true. The more vaccine that we can get out in the community, more people getting vaccinated, the sooner we'll get back to normal. So I encourage you to do that. I think all the members of Fiscal Court now have been vaccinated. Is that right?
I have.
Yes,
yeah,
I have.
Appreciate that. And along with that, a milestone we had Monday, for the first time that I can remember, we had 0 positive tests in Henderson County for a 24-hour period. And it was great to see, great to see. Now, today we have 11. So it comes and goes, but to have a day where there were no new ones, I think it is an accomplishment, and it really made me feel a whole lot more optimistic about what the next couple months are going to look like. As you know, or may know, the governor came out with a recommendation that he would pull back a lot of the restrictions on restaurant and other facilities if 1 million more Kentuckians, I think the number was 1 million more Kentuckians, got vaccinated. Now there's some arguments about whether that's a valid requirement or not from various corners, but I do think 1 million more Kentuckians getting vaccinated would be good for everybody in the state, and anything that helps us get completely back open again is good.
Brad, I interrupt you just 1 second.
Sure.
Would you consider possibly maybe doing a video, maybe with the help of Kenny and Brent? There have been some really good educational stuff that the government's put out now about the shots and vaccinations and the benefits and so forth. We need, if some way we could show that to the prisoners down at the jail. I mean, I think we'd be so much better off if those prisoners got the shot, so that we just didn't keep, you know, spreading the virus around down there. And there's some people that are reluctant to do it. I don't know how to educate them, I guess is my point. And just a thought,
well, if there are existing videos that you can tap into, might broach it with the jailer.
Okay, well, we'll do that. Okay, just it would be so helpful if all the prisoners got vaccinated. That would just really help shut that problem down. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, and to Magistrate McCollum's point, not just in the jail, but countywide, I was looking earlier today at the percentage of vaccinated folks by county in Kentucky. And Henderson was not very high up on that list, even though, as the judge mentioned, there's plenty of places you can get a vaccine. You know, we're blessed to have, you know, all the different places in Henderson, Evansville, Owensboro, all of those places near us. And people are not necessarily taking advantage of that here in Henderson. Evansville. I think it could get us back to normal quicker, as the judge said. So any amount of publicity about that and encouragement for Henderson County in particular is probably a good thing, because that rate has been comparatively low in Henderson County.
So I encourage us all to urge friends and neighbors who asked about it, please get vaccinated.
Yeah.
We were able to, through the Flood Mitigation Board, to get some portions of Elam Ditch cleaned out. And I know some of you are glad to hear that. These are portions that have taken us some time to get landowners agreements to do, and we were able to get that done. Hopefully that helps everybody upstream of Elam Ditch, as well as help keeping water off Airline Road. So just want to throw that in there. We shall see how that impacts it, but at least we are successful in getting that little project completed. I also want to pay a big compliment to Treasurer Ryder and our team up here and all the department heads and elected officials that work with them to make sure that our financial procedures are correct and meet state guidelines. And apparently they are, because our most recent audit came back completely clean. There were no findings of technical errors. That has been a goal of ours for quite some time. And in dealing with state government, sometimes it's difficult to guess from one agency to the next what they will accept or not accept. And we were able to thread those needles pretty well. And the 2020 audit came back clean, completely clean. So big round of applause for all of those folks who helped Treasurer Ryder get it right, and especially to her. She's on the phone constantly with the state, trying to please them and make sure that our audits will come out successfully. And for 1 year, we finally reached that zero mark, and now we got to do it all over again. So the pressure stays on. But great accomplishment for her and a great goal to reach.
And Brad, when I was in my training last week, I think it was last week, days were running together, but they talked about if the sheriff's office and if we have an audit like that, then we could qualify for it's basically a quick audit, which would save us and the sheriff's department a lot of money. And I know the sheriff's department come back really good on their audit too. So we may qualify for that quick audit. I apologize, I don't have any more information than that, but I did catch that while I was in that training.
Sure, Treasurer Ryder will look into that. We're going to have another year of being able to use a private auditor, not the state auditor's team, which is typically the really expensive one.
Right.
But I'm sure we'll look into anything we can do to keep our costs down. I will say that the large amount of money coming down the pike from the federal government, I think is going to be a complicating factor. There's going to be so much money floating to counties and cities that I wonder if it's going to become an auditing challenge, but we'll see. And we'll take care of any discount we're able to get our hands on for sure. Thanks for mentioning that. Okay, one last item. It'd be my goal to be able to meet in person again, starting with the first fiscal court meeting in May. We'll have one more Zoom call on April 27th. And then I think, I hope that everybody would be comfortable with meeting again in person starting in May. What does everybody think about that?
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
I'm fine.
Everybody's been vaccinated, I believe, on this Zoom call. So that's what we'll shoot for. And if something arises that for whatever reason interrupts that schedule, I'll let you know, but I'll look forward to seeing everybody again in person in our fiscal courtroom. It'll be nice little milestone to reach. So with that, I don't have anything else. Anything else for the good of the group? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion by Master Putman, second by Master McCullum, barely nipping out Master Barry. All those in favor can leave. We'll see you soon.
Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Oh.